So I am going to get started just so we have enough time for speaking. Feel free to continue adding comments on the chat if you want. So a few announcements. If you are new, we have a Facebook group, WordPress Accessibility. You can find it if you search on Facebook, or we might be able to throw the link up in the chat. If you want to talk about accessibility in between meetups, this is a good place to go and connect with other users. And then if you want to find any upcoming events or you want to find recordings, so we do record this and it takes about 5 business days, but we get, once we have the captions corrected and have a full transcript, we will post the recording on our website, which you can find if you go to equalizedigital.com/meetup. We are seeking additional sponsors. So as someone noted in the chat, unfortunately, we do not have ASL interpretation today. We are looking for a sponsor to help us with the cost of ASL interpretation. We also do not have a sponsor for our daytime meetups live caption starting next month. We will still have live captions, even if there's not a sponsor. My company will just cover the cost of that because I know it's very important. However, we are hoping, since we're not making money off the meetup and the WordPress Foundation doesn't have the cost, they've said to cover the cost of that, that we can find a sponsor to help. So please reach out to me if that's something your company would be interested in. If you have any suggestions for the meetup, please do reach out to us. We have an email, meetup@equalizedigital.com, that goes to myself and Paula, who is here today, and you'll see her talking a bunch in the chat. So if you need something, or if there's something you think that we can do better, feel free to reach out to us at that email. So who am I? I am Amber Hines. I'm the CEO of a company called Equalized Digital. We are a certified B Corporation. We specialize in WordPress accessibility. It's sort of a passion of mine. We have a plugin called Accessibility Checker, which audits websites for accessibility issues and puts reports on the post and page edit screens, sort of like your SEO plugins do. So that's what we are. If you want, you can find out more about us on our website, which I've already said that. And then we're on Twitter at Equalized Digital. Our live caption sponsor for today is Media Sesh, and Christina, who I'm not sure if I saw her come in or not. I don't think she's here today, but she runs SEO consulting firm based out of Denver that helps businesses be found by their customers online and reach their fullest potential in search results. And she kindly offered to sponsor live captions for today, which we very much appreciate. We always ask, if you can, give a shout out to our sponsors on Twitter and thank them for helping to make our meetup accessible. So you can learn more about Media Sesh at MediaSesh, which is SESH.com, or you can find her at MediaSesh on Twitter. We also have a sponsor, Empire Captions, who has kindly offered to donate their transcription services to us after the meetup is over so that we can have a corrected transcript and captions for our recorded video, which is super important. And we very much appreciate this because when we were doing it as non-experts, it was taking us many hours. So Empire Captions, we recommend checking them out if you are looking for a captioning solution. They also do audio description, which is descriptions of videos for people who cannot see them. It will describe what is happening or being shown in the visuals in the video. You can learn more about them at empirecaptions.com, and you can find them on Twitter at Empire Caption. We have 2 upcoming events that I want to just highlight. Our next event will be Monday, February 21st. It's at 5 p.m. Pacific if you're on the West Coast, and then there's some other times if you want to translate 7 p.m. for me here in Central Time. And that will be Nicholas Stine, who, if you've ever heard it, he has a podcast called the A11Y, which stands for Accessibility Rules Podcast. And he has been doing a series that I've really been enjoying, where he does little sound bites. So there may be 5 to 7 minute interviews with people with disabilities, and he asks them to describe their disability, talk about what challenges they experience on the web, and then if they had one piece of information for a designer, developer, what would they want to say? So he's going to come and give us a talk and share quotes from a lot of his podcasts and different users to kind of give us an experience of the broad depth of challenges that different people of different abilities face on the web. So that should be a really great talk. And then following that up, the next month in this same time slot on Thursday, March 3rd, we will be having a podcast from Ronnie Burt, who's at Sensei, LMS, and Automatic, and he will be talking about in his presentation accessibility for content creators, so things you can do while entering content in the content editor. I have a couple of speakers that I'm going to introduce today, or different topics. Let me find Alex, and I will add a pin on here. There we go. So our tester today, who's going to be working with me and be doing a lot of talking, and I'm super excited to have him, is Alex Stine. Alex is part of the accessibility team for Make WordPress, and he started in web development, doing tech support. Then he moved into accessibility development, and he is working as a DevOps engineer at a WordPress host. Not long after starting in tech support, Alex lost what vision he had, and he's now completely blind. And this was the single event that motivated him to enter the accessibility world. He really wants to help others have access to all the information that everyone should have on the web. So we're really excited to have you here today with us, Alex, and we're all going to hear more from Alex in just a minute. And today we're going to be looking at the GiveWP plugin, and I'm going to find and add a pin on Matt. I don't have Matt's face, but I have a screenshot from the WordPress plugin repository up here. So we're going to be looking at GiveWP. This is a plugin that we've used on some of our client sites. It's a donation plugin if you haven't heard about it. And basically, the goal of the plugin is to make it easier for organizations and individuals around the world to gather donations on their website for free. And the base version of the plugin has over 100,000 active installs, and they sell a number of different add-ons, one of which that was newly came out was the peer-to-peer add-on, which we will be looking at today. So we're really excited to have Matt here and be having the opportunity to help them improve the accessibility of their product. So before I stop sharing my screen and I let Alex share his and take over, I want to go over some guidelines. This is only the second time we've done one of these meetups. And after the first one we did, I had sort of a debrief with our speaker, who is Joyce Oshida from VMware. And I realized that I probably needed to put a little bit of guidelines on these. So we have 2 guidelines that I want to request everyone kind of follow and respect during this meetup. So the first one is that the goal, we have 2 primary goals. And number 1, we want to give voices to the users. So it's really important that we give our tester room to speak. So to that front, what I would like to do is I'd like to request that no one chime in until we ask if people from the audience, if you have thoughts or ideas about how something could be improved, or if you notice something that seems like an accessibility problem. I know we have a ton of experts here, which is awesome. Put it in the chat. That's a good place to put that in. And I will intermittently ask if there's any questions. So if you're also not sure about what Alex is experiencing, then feel free to put that in the chat. And if I see that, then I might ask him, okay, Alex, was this a problem for you or not? But we really want to make sure that we hear from our tester as much as possible today, and not as much from our audience members. So hopefully that will go well. And then of course, our second goal for this is, in short, it's no bashing. But I know it takes a lot for a plugin developer to be willing to step up in front of everybody and have their thing tested and possibly have problems pointed out. And I really cannot applaud enough like that plugin developers are willing to do this and that they do want to make their products more accessible, which is awesome. So of course, the goal of this is to provide positive, actionable feedback to the plugin developer. And I really want us to applaud their efforts to make their software more accessible. And, don't leave here and be like, oh, that GiveWP plugin has so many problems, right? Like let's figure out how we can help them make it better in a positive way that encourages more developers to want to come here and get that feedback. So those are my 2 requests for today. I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to let Alex share his screen. And hopefully his audio.
All right, let's see.
Meeting controls window. Live transcription. Closed captioning has been enabled. Press F6 for more information about who can see this transcript alert.
Can you pause for just 1 second, Alex, while I do a quick what this is for people?
Participants can now see your screen alert.
Okay. Also, I don't know if this matters necessarily for us, but you may be zoomed out quite a bit. I don't know if you wanted to reset it to like a 100%. So just real quick, what we have is we've set up the GiveWP plugin on a sandbox site. It only has the main free plugin. So this is all the free plugin, and then it does have the peer-to-peer add-on, which we'll look at. And it's just using the main WordPress 20. What is this? 2021, the green one. So theoretically, that theme isn't doing too much to override what's happening in the plugin, but there are sometimes instances where themes conflict. If that would be the one thing I would ask, Alex, if you're able to, could you set your zoom on the browser to
everyone.
100%?
I think Zoom menu, over submenu T1 of 2, full screen, repair text and page style, zoom, sub, sidebar, sub, zoom, zoom menu, zoom and CT, zoom out, CT, actual size, CTR, zoom, text, actuals from Marston to everyone. Alex, if you hit control 0 on your keyboard, it will go to 100 alert. Actual size, CTR, L0, 1 to 1, level 1. Form grid, sandbox, stop.
Is that better?
No, if you hit control 0, does it do it?
From Marston to everyone, or command 0 on Mac alert.
Oh, command 0. That might actually work where you are now. That's 110%, but that's probably a better view. I'm also wondering, do you want to pause the Zoom chat notification so we're only hearing the website?
I really wish I knew how to do that, because the speech is like so slow that the chat lags behind, and it's actually, it's also annoying for me. So there's that.
Okay, so since it might take a while to figure out how to do that, what I think makes the most sense is
everyone, you can turn off chat notifications for screen readers in the Zoom settings alert.
Yeah, so it's in the Zoom settings. If you think you can find it, we'll do it.
Audio settings, stop video settings, open participant, more options for participants, drop chat button, new share, pause share, alt annotate button, remote control apps button, more drop down button, dock to bottom button, stop share, alt mute, currently unmuted, alt A button, audio settings, drop down button.
Yeah, audio settings. Yeah.
Audio settings?
Menu. Select the microphone array, Intel Smart, same as system unchecked. Select the speaker, Realtek HD, speakers, Realtek, same as system unchecked. Test speaker microphone, switch to phone audio, leave computer audio settings. Select the microphone array, Intel Smart, audio settings.
Audio settings, maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
From M to everyone, there is a section for accessibility in Zoom alert.
First time I've heard of that. I'm not sure where it's at.
Stop video, alt from audio mute, currently unmute, stop share, alt S, dock to bottom button, more drop down button.
Maybe under more.
Menu. Records, alt R. Show subtype, view full track, show subtype, view full subtitle settings, reaction.
There's an accessibility section in the settings. Maybe it's in there.
Hide names of hide video panel, hide clothing music, share sound, checked.
Is that outside of the Zoom room?
Mono, checked. Stereo, meeting info. Leave, alt, meeting info. Leave, records, alt R. Leave, meeting info.
There's a bunch of screen reader results checked in mine.
Settings
or
button.
alerts.
Close button. Settings button. Close WordPress accessibility Meetup Auditing GiveWP at work. Close button. Settings button. Settings window. List statistics selected.
Yeah, there we go.
Keyboard selected. Keyboard shortcut selected. Accessibility selected. Tab control. Overall tab selected checked.
I never even knew this was here. See, we all learned something.
I don't
every
think, I
day.
think you're still on the statistics tab, so you would need to go back to the
List
accessibility
selected.
tab.
Accessibility.
There,
Keyboard short accessibility selected.
there
Okay.
you go.
Closed caption font size :14. Closed caption captions will chat display size. CTR screen reader alerts restore defaults button. Screen reader alerts list. I am chat received. Check selected.
So,
Unchecked alert. Space. Participant has
yeah,
joined
there
left
we
meeting.
go.
Host only. Check selected. Unchecked alert. Participant has joined left waiting room. Host only. Check selected. Audio muted by host. Check selected. Video stopped by host. Audio mute. Video screen sharing started from M to everyone. About recording permission granted revoked. Check public and meeting chat received. Check selected. Private and meeting chat. Meeting file upload complete.
Yeah,
Private
you
public and
might,
meeting chat
that
received.
one
Check
turn
selected.
off.
Unchecked alert. Space. Private and meeting file upload. Closed captioning is available. Closed captioning. Post privilege. Co-host privilege. Remote control. Live stream. Start. Participant has QA question received. Participant has raised lower hand. QA question received. Check selected. QA answer is role change to role change to it. I am chat. Participant has I am chat received. Unchecked.
Okay, let's hope that gives us some results.
List accessibility selected. Slider closed caption font size :14. Closed caption captions will chat display. Screen reader alerts restore defaults. Screen reader alerts list accessibility select. Slider closed caption font size more drop down button.
Okay, so the first thing we're gonna look at then is the form grid.
Form grid. 10.
So this page, just to give you, because Alex hasn't really looked at this, so I'll give a quick, this is the kind of page, if you had a donation and you're like, I'm doing a bunch of different donation campaigns, so I'm pretending this is an animal shelter and I put dogs you can donate to. So Alex, let's say you want to donate to a dog. Could you, there are 3 instances of this that we've put on here. One's coming from a short code and 2 are using the block editor and they do different things. I have headings that sort of describe what they are. If you wanted to come and donate to a dog at this animal shelter, would you be able to do that?
Well, I always like to start by jumping by a heading because exploring the entire page, the arrow keys can be a very slow process.
Main landmark form grid heading level 1. Form grid with redirect action heading level 2. As a short code heading level 3. Donate to curly heading level 3 link. Link this cute dog needs only a little money. Link $250 or $100 raised. Link progress star 100. Link graphic curly by a bench. Link div 61 FDF 883 circa 944. Link heading level 3 donate to Molly. Link div 61 FDF 883 circa 944.
If I had to guess, I would say that's where we're supposed to be clicking for this. So we'll activate this link and see what happens.
Link heading level 3 donate to Molly.
Nothing as far as I can tell.
Yeah, this one is from the short code, which I didn't keyboard test. Should that one link open? Matt, you put that one in.
Div 61 FDF 883 circa.
2 different methods. One is that it will redirect to a form page, and the other is that it will open in a pop-up. And I don't recall, I believe the default is that it should redirect. I also believe that the whole element is actually clickable, but I'm going to pull the site up and double check real quick. That one did get added last and most, oh, there's the pop-up. So
yeah,
yeah, and the pop-up is probably at the bottom of the page. So
landmark proudly powered by link sandbox. Main landmark current page 1 link 2 link div 61 FDF link graphic olive is a young link progress star 60.
I'm just attempting to find the pop-up and
Link 83 link this dog is a link heading level 3 donate to olive. Link div 61 link graphic Molly might link progress link 150 link how can you resist link heading level link div 60 link graphic link progress star link 200 link this cute link heading level 3 link div 61 FD link graphic link progress star link $0 link this cute dog link heading level 3 donate to Valentine link div 61 link graphic link 1002 link.
you want to pause for 1 second, Alex?
sure.
I was just going to say, and you could probably explain this, what happened and what probably would have been more desired, which is that, right, you opened it opened a pop-up. We can see the pop-up, but it didn't shift your focus into the pop-up, right? So now you're trying to find it. But also, did you hear, was there a like a pop-up open or modal opened alert?
No, and I actually can't find like any dialogue on the page at the moment, which is kind of odd.
Yeah, so I think on this particular, like with the pop-up, you'd probably have to go through everything on the page, I would guess, in order to get to it, because it didn't shift you there and it didn't tell you that it opened. And then my other guess is the headings on it are exactly the same. So if you were to try to navigate by headings, it would be the repeat of the like donate to Curly heading is also in the pop-up. And I don't know, would you prefer to have, like, would it be better to have a different heading or something so that you could jump to them?
Well, if focus is managed, that becomes a non-issue.
Yeah.
Link skip to content.
I think there's
Main
two
headline, form
questions
content,
there.
one.
I
Form
think
grid
there's two
with heading
questions there.
level.
The one is like I'm not familiar with a way to tell you that a pop-up has opened. How is that achieved actually?
So the best way to manage that is to render it as a dialogue, and then you can just, I mean, literally call focus event on it. You usually add a -1 tab index to the parent element of the dialogue. You can add things like an Aria label to label the dialogue. There's Aria described by for any description text you might have.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean, the main thing there is just managing the focus and making sure that it is actually a real dialogue, whether that be the dialogue tag or the Aria role dialogue.
Mhm. I think at the moment, yeah, like Amber was saying, it's probably difficult to find the pop-up itself. So yeah, so essentially what you're saying is as soon as the pop-up is triggered, if the focus goes into that immediately, then everything becomes a lot more clear.
Yes, and another thing you'll want to do is actually prevent the focus from leaving the pop-up, because if you get the situation where you tab out of said pop-up, oh, that becomes not good.
So
Yeah, that makes
one
sense.
thing you might look at, Pop-up Maker, I think does this pretty well. The free version of Pop-up Maker, they have done a fair bit of accessibility where when a modal opens, it shifts focus in and they lock focus in the modal.
And then
Yeah.
occasionally you'll want to get out of the modal, like you're like, maybe I'm going to donate, maybe not, but that you should be able to just hit escape to get out of the modal as well, is what you're saying.
Escape and a close button.
And a close button, yep.
And yeah, I will also throw out there, just because WordPress is awesome, we do have the accessible modal component for Gutenberg. So if you want to check that out.
Interesting.
If you are, do you think you want to try to get into this pop-up, Alex?
Well, that's what I was looking to do, and I'm not sure it's actually possible.
As a short code, heading level 3. Form grid with redirect action as a short donate to Curly heading level 3 link. Frame donate to Curly heading level 2.
Oh, okay.
I think you're
There-
in it now.
Button. Out of frame link give 61 FDF 8 frame button.
Yeah, this isn't a traditional pop-up. This is like a frame.
Heading level 2 donate to Curly. This cute dog needs only a little money. Heading button. Out of frame link give
Alright,
61
let's
FDF.
see.
That's right, it is a frame, yeah.
Graphic Curly link progress star 1.
So
Banner landmark primary menu main landmark donate to Curly heading level 3. This cute dog needs only a little.
if we focus here on the link and try to tab anymore,
Give 61 FDF 8.
eventually we reach a
Donate
point
now button.
where tabbing becomes interesting. So I was able to make it to a donate now button
Button.
and an unlabeled button, which I take to be probably close.
Button. Button.
So
Donate
those
the mouse heading
buttons,
without
Alex,
this
are
activate.
actually, they're basically like pagination buttons because this is a styled like a 3-page paginated form. The close button you actually focused on earlier, but it didn't read out close. So I think it's missing. It's like unlabeled. And also I'm not sure if it was a button because I didn't hear it say button when you went to close. But it was
Yes.
focusable because I saw your focus go to it
Yeah, I think the issue here is that it's a frame. Screen readers have varying support for frames, most of them very bad. So this would be much better served as an actual dialogue.
So like you'd rather see it as like a div element?
Or even just the dialogue tag.
Oh,
Tag
oh,
works
dialogue
now.
tag.
But yeah, either one. I mean, you can definitely add rule dialogue if that's an easier fix.
Okay. So do you want to see if you can donate with that donate now button?
Frame button. Donate now button. List with 6 items, $100 button. $250 button.
All right, let's try for $250 because who doesn't love that?
Yes, be generous.
Okay, so I pressed enter on $250 and nothing happened.
So
Or-
what did happen, just so you know, is there's like a field above that shows the dollar amount you've selected. So it changed it from 100 to 250. But yes, you didn't get the alert that there's actually a continue button down
Custom
below.
amount button. $250 button. Continue button.
Okay, so the best way to do something like this would be to make this a combo box. And essentially what would happen is you would be able to select an option amount, you know, as it would be a normal form control. And then tab would,
List with 6 items, custom amount button.
you could land on this custom amount, or you could
Continue button.
land on continue. Or you could even have the custom amount as an option in the combo box, which would be even better. So it would have a label that says something like select amount, and you focus the combo box and you're able to select it and move on. And if custom is selected, then you can move the focus into the custom dollar amount field.
Yeah. There's actually one thing that we had mentioned, Amber, was that, so right now what we're doing, we're going kind of painstakingly through the donation form itself. And this is actually like, I'm not sure how many folks have followed the journey of GiveWP, but it's, how old is it now? It's almost 7 years old. And the markup from this donation form is basically also 7 years old. And we are in the process now of creating a whole new way to render our forms, which we are making sure that the markup is going to be far more accessible going forward once we have those new forms going. So that we have a very limited ability to really make serious changes to the forms in their current state because of the nature of how they were built forever ago. But this calendar year, we're going to be pushing out some new forms. So
That's awesome.
yeah, all I'm saying is that all of this is essentially in the process of being scrapped.
Okay, so maybe it makes sense to keep going down the page rather than continuing on the form, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay,
'Cause
can
this
you
def-
escape from this and not donate to this dog?
List with 6. Continue button. List with 6 items, custom amount button.
It does not appear so.
$100 button. $50 button. $25 button.
Well, the list is back open again. That's interesting.
$10 button. Edit selected 250. Curly
Yeah,
document blank.
visually you are progressing straight up the center of the form. Now maybe you should be able to escape at this point, I think. Huh.
There might be a close button above it. If you
Div 61 FBF 883 circa 944 link.
that's your close button.
That's a
So it
fun
doesn't
one.
say close. I think it might have read out like an ID or something because it's
Mhm.
unlabeled.
Mhm.
It may actually be hidden from view at this point also, and only picked up by a tabber.
Edit
Yeah,
selected
it's
200.
not,
Curly document blank.
that was
Div
one thing
61
which
FBF 883.
doesn't apply to screens, but that was one thing I noticed, like, or screen readers, but the color contrast on that, like the close button is almost unreadable. Because it was like dark text on a dark button.
Clicking close
that-
appears not to do anything either, so
So there's further down the page, I have this inserted in and it has the redirect action. I have a heading labeling it. So that might be worth testing. And
Frame
seeing
donate the
how that
Curly heading
works
level
for
2.
you.
Donate the Molly heading level 3 link. Donate the Olive heading level 3 link. Donate the Rosie heading level 3 link. Donate the Charles heading level as a block heading level 3. Donate the Charles heading level 3 link. Donate the Curly heading level 3. Donate the Molly heading level for support our cause heading level 3 link.
Could you
Donate the Olive
pause
heading
for
level 3 link.
1 second? I'll just say this because I already messaged Matt about this, the images and the overlay. I think they're working on some styles, but in case anybody's noticing, there's a text overlapping images that is unreadable, Alex. So I just thought I would call that out, but they're working on that. So. And it's because I did the thing where I pretend I don't know anything about cropping images and I just uploaded random sized images from Pexel like a client would.
Exactly. Which
And
is
it needs
most
like an
people do.
overflow hidden to force them to stay in their container.
Is it possible for anyone to hit this this sandbox page? Can we put the link in the chat? I'd like to see if it's possible.
Yeah, do you mind if I just send the front end link, Matt?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay, yes, I'll put the link in the chat.
Thank you.
Form grid with modal option heading level 2. Support our cause heading level 3 link. Donate to the Motley Crew heading level 3. Donate to Valentine heading level 4. Donate to Curly heading level 3. Donate to Molly heading level 3 link. Donate to Olive heading level 3 link. No next heading.
I'm not sure where the redirect is.
There should be a heading too that says it includes the word like built with redirect. If you just listen to heading
Link
two.
shifted intent. Main landmark form grid heading level 1. Form grid with redirect action heading level 2.
Oh, there it is.
Heading level 3 is a short
Oh,
code.
wait.
Heading level 3 donate to Curly.
Yeah. Oh, so okay. So that got a little thrown off because actually I think that was the one you were on with the short code. Can you find the H3 that says as a block?
Frame donate to Curly heading. Donate to Molly heading level. Donate to Olive head. Donate to Rosie heading. Donate to Charles as a block heading level 3.
It's right after that. Yeah, as a block. So
Heading level
right
3 donate to
below
Charles.
that. Try going to one of those.
Charles sandbox document busy. Link skip to content. Main landmark frame donate to Charles heading level 2.
So this might be a quick fix before you get the modals fix, which is you could educate your customers, Matt, that if they need their thing to be accessible, they should use the redirect. Because this worked way better than Alex, right? Rather than the pop-up.
This is also a frame though, so this is going to have varying support.
Button. Heading level 2 donate to Charles. Button out of frame banner land out of list main landmark frame button.
So I think this is going to be like, yeah. So really the question is should it be an iframe or should it just be like a page on the, like a post single or something, right?
Definitely no iframes.
If you guys don't mind, I'd like to add in that if you notice in web design and development that we have a tendency to want to hide data, and it makes it so much more complicated to program, to make right. And if you notice, if you go to apple.com or you go to mit.edu, probably the most technologically advanced people, right? You'll notice that they don't use carousels. They don't use pop-ups. They don't use all of these things because not only are you losing SEO because a crawler won't come in and find that content, just as Alex has demonstrated, but also, you know, I just want to bring that up for everybody on the conversation, because we need to teach our designers to try to be more creative with the beauty of things in keeping it all on the page, you know, and don't go to these types of styles or things, even though they're nice for us visually. We need to be able to challenge ourselves to say, it's okay for me to scroll. It's okay for me to, you know, see all that data. And I just want to introduce that as an idea.
I agree.
Awesome.
It's not that the content is hidden. The content is on the page and it is absolutely scrollable and searchable. By, I think you were talking about search engines, but I think the navigation aspect of being able to navigate from the keyboard is definitely highly challenging for sure. The redirect method seems to have been a lot easier, but Alex, correct me if I'm wrong, you're still able to get into this form even though it is in the iframe, correct?
Yes, but I wouldn't use that as a guarantee. Different screen readers have varying support, and also you have to take into account user skill. I'm a web developer. I know how to use these things.
Yeah.
So if we were to look at this from a normal user's point of view,
Banner landmark, primary menu navigation landmark. Out
this
of list
is
link
how
skip
it
to
would look. We'd start at the top, and I kid you not, I graduated with a lot of people that did this. They would do this through the whole page.
banner landmark sandbox link. Primary menu navigation landmark list with 4 items form grid link. Donor grid link. Donor dashboard link. Peer-to-peer campaign link. Main landmark frame donate now button.
Okay, we hear donate now, but you know, we have to remember our context from the previous page. It doesn't read any content above this button. And it was almost like an empty tab stop in between navigation and here. So for
So
most users, they would have been done by now.
Well,
So I was gonna ask you, I think that empty tab stop might have been when you got to the iframe. Is it helpful? Because I noticed this doesn't have a title attribute. Would it be helpful to have a title attribute on the iframe?
I mean, generally title attributes are discouraged, period, because those also have varying support in screen readers.
Okay.
I don't know. To tell you the truth, I've never seen an accessible iframe yet. I mean, maybe one exists, but I've never seen one.
I think typically we would have, whoever would be building out this site would have an H1 and a paragraph that would come before this form. In this particular case, it's just a form on a page. But generally speaking, most of our GiveWP users are creating a whole marketing page, and then the form is just one piece of the whole page. So I don't think that that's typical, but nevertheless, I think trying to provide as much context as we can here would be helpful. Like there is context up above that donate now button. And as you were tapping through, it skipped that. It didn't say donate to Charles, this cute dog needs a lot of money, which is the context that it should have given you, but it didn't. So.
Well, the other way to look at this is Windows has a very different interaction model than Macs do. So what essentially would happen on a Mac is start at the top of the page.
Banner just the primary menu navigation landmark link donor grid. Link donor dashboard. Link peer-to-peer campaign. Out of list main landmark frame button.
So here we are in the frame, but it would be right before the frame, it would announce a frame, and then you'd have to interact with it. So it's actually an extra step to get in these frames with VoiceOver.
You're currently on a PC, right?
Yes.
And what screen reader are you using? Because I think we probably should ask that at the beginning.
NVDA currently.
Okay. Yeah, that's my experience because I have a Mac and it's more challenging for me to get into it. Like it says, you're on a frame. To interact with this frame, do Control Option, like my VoiceOver keys, like I have to hit like 3 keys to even get into it.
And it's very challenging to handle focus in frames. So it's very possible that you could start interacting with this frame and get completely disorientated. And with VoiceOver, that is not a good thing because, as already mentioned, VoiceOver is pretty much a nightmare to do anything with already. I mean, it really shows when we don't get accessibility updates from our OS manufacturers. So VoiceOver has had a extreme lack of updates and suffers from issues that sometimes you don't have on Windows. And the same could be true for Windows. There are some things on Windows you may not experience on Mac. Like the biggest advantage to Mac is they have a much more accessible terminal than on Windows. So it's very interchangeable.
Do you want to go to the donor grid page and we can see if you wanted to look up who's donated to this, to the dogs?
Green link skip the content. Banner primary donor grid link. Donor grid, sandbox document, link skip the content. Main landmark donor grid heading level 1. This page has the donor grid on it added with the donor grid
I
block.
was
See all
about
the
to say, Alec, that's amazing to me how quickly you do find all these things, because especially how fast the screen reader is reading, and yeah, I mean, it's just amazing to me. I really appreciate getting to see how you navigate this site. That's amazing.
I'd be happy to demonstrate at the end what my actual listening speed is, because this is like painfully slow for me.
Oh my goodness.
To give you an idea, it's at 50%. I usually keep it around 90.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you turning it down for all of our ears.
Donated to support our cute dogs. RP. Heading level 3 random person. RP. P. R. P.
RP for random person. Not sure I know what exactly that means.
So that is a placeholder because I think it's pulling if there's a gravatar. There's one where I used my real email address and it pulled my image. And so if someone doesn't have a gravatar set up, then it's doing their things. But I'm wondering, would you rather just
Heading level
ignore
3 random person.
that? Like, should that have a hidden on it so you don't even know that there's,
Yes,
it's like decorative, right?
yes.
Donor grid heading level 1. Random person heading level 3.
Heading order for this page.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably on me. I didn't put an H2. But although I guess maybe the feedback on that might be, you might want to give a toggle in your block to allow people to choose what their heading level should be. Because if they don't think to put an H2 on the page, then it would be out of order, right, Alex?
Yeah, and that's always a challenge with these type plugins is how they integrate with content. So it's something that many authors face.
Sorry, was that one, was that an H3? Was that what that was?
Mhm.
Yes.
I think that also would apply to your form grid, because I noticed like I put those are also H3s and it was fine because I had H2s, but then when we had the short code and the block, we had H3s for those. So really in that instance, the form, like the grid, it should have made those H4 headings, right? To like nest them under. So it's like giving your users the ability to choose what heading level they want to use would be nice.
$100. February 3rd, 2022. FW. Heading level 3 Fred Weasley. $50. February 3rd, DW. Heading level 3 Bill Weasley. $250. February 3rd, GW. Heading level 3 Ginny Weasley. $100. February 3rd, DH. Heading level 3 Dobby Herself. $100. February 3rd. Button load more.
How does that
Content
work?
info and main landmark. Button load more.
Oh, we're about to find out.
Load more unavailable. Load more.
More
February 3rd. Heading level 3 Elsa of Arendelle.
Okay, this is gonna be a challenge.
Link
Just
skip
skip,
name
it
random
just
person heading level 3.
skipped a whole bunch of folks, I think.
So
Fred Weasley, Bill Weasley, Ginny Weasley heading level. Dobby Herself heading level 3. Anonymous heading level 3.
So essentially what happens is load more buttons are a real pain. And the reason being is because when more content is loaded, my focus stays on the load more button, and now there's X number of items above it. So essentially what has to happen is you have to remember where you left off, navigate either backwards or start from the top of the page and navigate down to where you were, and keeping in mind where you left off to find out where the new content starts. So the best thing you could do here is you could focus the most recently loaded item after the load more action completes.
Yep.
So in this context, you can add a tab index of -1 and you can focus the heading.
Mm.
how do
Yeah.
you feel about the way the WordPress media library did it, where they added a button to the next to the load more that's like jump to most recently loaded item? Like, do you like having to choose it, or would you rather that it just happens automatically?
You know, I've seen some discussion around it. I've never actually tested it, so shame on me for that. Because I know there was a lot of work that went into it, and yeah, so I don't know. I've also never had a media library with that many items, so there's also that.
Would you prefer that it just shifts you automatically, or would you rather that you have a button that you can choose to make it do that?
Me personally, I think I would want it to shift automatically, because load more is one of those very much a context issue type deal. So it could be different every time in theory. Or the user might not know exactly what they're looking. Well, what I'm getting at is if you know the item you're looking for is on page 3, you just click page 3. In the context of a load more, you may not exactly remember how many times you selected load more. There's no real context to tell you where you are at any given time. So I actually like the pagination model a lot better, but that would, in my opinion, the automatic focus after load more is the way to go.
Yeah, it's a similar feedback to opening up the form in a modal where after you click on it, we should reset the focus into the form automatically. Yeah.
Well,
makes a lot of
that's a must. I mean, you can't.
Yeah.
So on this page, there is one person, George Jetson from Spacely Sprockets, who has entered a very long comment. And I'm wondering if you're able, and it's basically truncated, and then there's a link to open it to read the whole thing. So I'm wondering if you
Heading level
jump to George Jetson.
George Jetson, heading level 3. Heading level 3, Spacely Sprockets. $1,234. February 3rd, 2022. This is a really, really long comment to see what happens. Lorem ipsum dolor sit consecutor. Adipus inelit. Sed use mod temper. Read more.
Okay, so a couple issues here.
Heading level 3, Adipus inelit. Sed use mod temper.
Read more is not a button or a link, so clicking on it may or may not do anything.
This is a really, really long comment to see what happens. Lorem ipsum dolor sit consecutor. Adipus inelit. Sed use mod temper. Incident elaborate dollar magna liquid. Coin libero non consequent. Dum various sit matis. Just Larry sit cursus. Nunc fulviner sapien et legula lam per melis coin libero none.
Well, the good news is clicking on it does do something and it continues reading. So I actually like that.
Also, just so you know, with context, Alex, this one opened a pop-up and it shifted your focus into the pop-up when it opened.
Blank, blank. This is a really, really long blank, blank, blank. This is a really adipus and non-consequent
But
regular
you
lamors
have-
versus
now you're
blank. Cursus means valid blank. Cross set felicity for states and arc of easy blank. Blank. Test cabinet order incident veneta celeris blank. Sidum like the cernical intellect the venom blank. Elementum move as matis facet blank. Order to concept celeris dollar button. Link skip banner landmark. Link skip the content.
Oh, you were on, can you close it?
Dollar celer consequent morse none. Cody celeris various dollar set for vera ipsum. Button. Dollar set for vera button.
Oh, it just says button. That was it. That is it. Yeah.
So it's just not labeled.
So what I would do here is I would render this as a dialogue, make sure the focus doesn't go anywhere. Add a close button at the top and keep your close button at the bottom, because I think close buttons in both places actually work well here. And I would probably throw a heading 1 in here just with the commenter's name so we don't lose context on what just happened with this dialogue.
So that's an interesting point, because for us visually, that close button is at the top, but it's actually at the bottom in the DOM.
Yes. And of course, close button, I mean, labeling super easy. Throw an Aria label on it, call it a day. All right, as far as what happens when we select close.
Donor grid, Sandbox Mozilla Firefox, private browsing, Donor grid, Sandbox Mozilla Firefox, private browsing, Donor grid, Sandbox document, content info landmark proudly powered by Link WordPress.
Yeah, that's got to get fixed too.
So can you explain what happened?
We went from the top of the site all the way down to the bottom. So what needs to happen is when a dialogue is opened, the focus should be returned to the trigger of the dialogue. So in this case, it would be read more.
So that you'd be back where you were in the order of the page.
Yes. So a
Do you
couple.
think that, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to ask you, do you think that read more link should have screen reader text on it that would say like read more of George Jetson's comment in case there's multiple of these read mores?
So yes, that was what I was going to mention, and you should also render that as a button, because right now there is probably no good way to focus on it, and VoiceOver may not even let you click it, because VoiceOver is a lot more particular about these things than NVDA or JAWS are. So you can get to it via the arrow keys. As far as actually focusing it, that's not going to be an option. So throw a roll button on it, and you can cheat with tab index of 0. I
I
know
like-
there's probably a lot of experts in here that are really going to frown on that, but it is what it is. It would be more accessible that way.
So there were some questions. I think you had suggested in the pop-up to add a heading, and maybe you said, I missed this, an H1. And some people were saying there should be only one H1 per page. Should that be like an H2 or something, or?
Well, at that point, you've changed context, so you're no longer able to see any headings. You'll be in the dialogue, so H1 should be fine, I think. I don't think it would make any sense to add an H2, for example, because there is no other heading, so.
So you're thinking about headings relative to the context of what you are in rather than the page as a whole?
Yeah, so the important thing to remember with accessibility in this way is, especially with screen readers, you are very much centrally focused on one item. So in the example of this read more, you are in a dialogue. The rest of the page at this point does not matter. So.
I think their concern is from an SEO perspective that messes things up because all the markup is still on the same HTML document.
Well, I mean, in theory, you could wrap it in a span tag. I mean, it really doesn't matter as long as you link it with Aria labeled by.
Yeah.
I mean, I would prefer a heading because I think that's really simple to jump into the top of dialogues, but I won't argue the SEO perspective.
Okay. Can we go, I'm going to skip the donor dashboard for now. Can we go to the peer-to-peer campaign?
Link skip the content. Banner primary menu navigation landmark list with 4 items. Donor grid link, current donor dashboard link. Peer-to-peer campaign link. Peer-to-peer campaign link. Sandbox. Just another WordPress site. Mozilla Firefox. Private browsing. Sandbox. Just another WordPress site. Mozilla Firefox. Private browsing. Sandbox. Just another WordPress site. Document busy. Link skip the content.
So what this is basically it allows people to build their own fundraising campaigns that they can invite people to create teams, and then teams can have people. I don't know the best example. Hopefully everybody knows what that means, but let's say that you wanted, so there's a Hogwarts team and there's a Slytherin team. If you wanted to join one of these teams to fundraise, and do you want to go choose Hogwarts or Slytherin, or not Hogwarts? Gryffindor. Sorry, Gryffindor or Slytherin. If you wanted to join one of their fundraising teams and help fundraise, would you be able to do that?
Banner landmark sandbox heading level 1. Main landmark banner landmark my first P2P campaign heading level 1. Join a fundraising team. Create your own or donate to help fund this campaign. Link start fundraising. Link donate now. Stats grouping list with 5 items 5. Out of link start fundraising. TAR. My first P2P campaign Mozilla Firefox. Private browsing. Start fundraising for link heading level 1. Join a team. Link have friends already fundraising. Help them reach their goals. Link heading banner landmark start fundraising. Heading level 1 my first P2P banner link heading level 1 join a team. Link have friends already fund link heading level 1 join as an individual. Link have friends link heading level 1 join a team. Start fundraising for my first P2P campaign Mozilla Firefox. Private browsing. Start fundraising for my first P2P campaign Mozilla Firefox. Private browsing. Start fundraising for my first P2P campaign document. Progress grouping list with 4 items to register. Current step 1 find T out of list out of grouping heading level 1 my first P2P campaign. Heading level 1 start fundraising for. Heading progress group to register. Free create profile. 4 start fundraising. Out of list out of grouping heading level 2 find a team to join. Leaderboard team search navigation landmark searching for a team. Edit as autocomplete start type in the name of the team. Link join team. Heading level 1 Gryffindor. $500 raised to $5,000 goal. Link join team. Heading level 1 Slytherin.
Okay, so these links, as you can hear, don't add any context. It says join team, but it doesn't tell you what team. So
join team link.
Join what team?
In that kind of context, we could provide that as an Aria label.
Yes, you could do that. So Aria labels, you would want to make it read something like join example team.
Yep. Yeah, because visually right now, that would be hard to fit the team name in the space where that button is. And sometimes team names are very long, and so it could be a challenge. But if we can make it, give it context with the Aria label, that would help. I got it. That makes sense.
So do you want to join Gryffindor or Slytherin?
Heading level 1 Slytherin.
Well, I don't know anything about either one, so I'm ready to
Not
be
a Harry
made fun
Potter
of
fan.
now. Yeah, I've never read any of the books.
So Gryffindor has more team members, so that would be your first join team button.
All right, let's go
So there
there.
might be more people on that one for
19.
testing.
Start fundraising for the My First P2P campaign document. Link skip to content. Banner landmark sandbox heading main landmark. Start fundraising for the My First P2P campaign heading level 1. Heading level 1 My First P2P campaign. Progress grouping list with 4 items. 1 find team. Current step 2 register. 3 create profile. 4 start fundraising. Out of list out of grouping banner landmark join team. Graphic Gryffindor. Gryffindor. 2 members. Team captain link Ron Weasley. First name edit as autocomplete. Last
So
name edit as autocomplete.
real quick, would
Paste.
it
I'll
would it
edit email
have
edit
been
as
helpful
autocomplete.
for you to be focused here instead of back at the top of the page?
Because the page reloaded, I'm fine with being focused back at the top of the page.
Okay.
The only time I really worry about managing focus is in the event that dialogues or more dynamic type content.
Last name first name edit as autocomplete.
It does not appear that these form fields actually have labels. Sounds like placeholder text.
Space. Space.
That's
Yep.
correct. They do not have labels.
Um,
And Matt, one thing that might be good to note is for people that have like cognitive disabilities or memory loss, that's why it's important to have a visible label above. So even if you were to have a label for screen readers, you still are supposed to always have a visible label above every field.
I'm a little surprised at that because I know that we were digging into that, and I know that the team is fully aware of that need. So I'm a little bit surprised, I have to say.
Main landmark first name edit as autocomplete blank.
what should our first name be?
Well, Harry Potter hasn't joined this team yet.
Well, could you give me something I could spell?
You can make it whatever you want.
How about test? I can spell test.
Okay.
Test last name edit as autocomplete.
How about testing?
T E
I
S E
can
I S E.
spell that too.
Testing email edit as autocomplete blank.
Now, one thing I will add is it would be really nice to know if these fields are required or not. So you can do that with the required attribute if you want HTML5 validation, or you can do that with the Aria required attribute. Either one works.
What if you tried to submit the form right now without filling in anything else?
Password edit confirm password edit join team button. Email edit as autocomplete blank.
It focuses you back in email, but doesn't tell you why.
Yeah, that there is an error, like this field is required or something.
Password edit protected. Email edit last name edit as auto first name team captain. Link Ron Weasley 2 members. Gryffindor. Graphic Gryffindor. Banner landmark join team.
Yes, there's no errors above the form either.
Graphic Gryffindor 2 team first last name email password edit confirm button join team blank. Content info landmark secure blank.
Or below.
It's relying visually just on a red outline around the box.
Yeah, you can't get away with that. There had to be some visible message somewhere. I would think even from a general UX perspective.
I don't know if you've ever used Gravity Forms, Alex, but I feel like the way Gravity Forms has handled some of their error messages, they put an error above, but then there's also an error message on every field that's visible and will be read out when you engage it with the screen reader.
Yeah, I enjoy those. Those are nice and simple.
Do you want to put like fake email address in here?
Oh, sure.
TEST. Test at EXAMPLE exam COM.
How many emails do you think actually get sent to this address?
I'm sure it bounces. I use @website.com all the time.
All right.
Password edit
So a
protect.
password.
Start. Confirm password edit start.
Oh,
And
okay, well, I'll
confirm.
just tell you so we don't waste too much time, but a message popped up there that says your password must have at least 6 characters, but I don't think it told you that.
It most certainly did not.
Password must have at least 6 characters.
So you can do that. What's the best way to do that for a field? Maybe I don't know. I'm not confident enough to start talking about like field set and legend elements because I don't have a lot of experience with them. Maybe that, I don't know. Maybe somebody else can comment on the best way to deal with a message like that.
Password edit.
But
Password
yes,
edit.
if Gravity Forms does it, then that should be something to copy from.
Selected. Circle. Unselected. Star. 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 Confirm password edit. Protected. Select. Circle. Unselected. Star. 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 Star.
Any more errors?
No.
Join team button. Unavailable. Start fundraising for my first P2P campaign document. Toolbar navigation landmark list with 2 items. Submenu link about WordPress. Banner landmark sandbox heading main landmark start fundraising for my first P2P campaign heading level 1. Heading level 1 my first P2P campaign. Progress grouping list with 4 items. 1 find team. 2 register. Current step 3 create profile. 4 start fundraising. Out of list out of grouping banner landmark create your fundraiser profile. Why are you fundraising? And a few sentences. Why are you building support this fundraiser?
I was just gonna ask, I think that's good. I like that it labels like current step. I'm assuming that's helpful to you to know where you are. So I don't want to point out, I think things could be improved. Like, I think that's helpful and sounds good.
Oh yes, it's very helpful. I actually become rather annoyed when there are steps that are not marked current. I'm like, well, you know, that's useless. Of course, they're
And a few
always
sentences. Why are
marked,
you Toolbar. Banner main
they're
landmark start.
always marked visually, but not necessarily for screen readers. So it doesn't, very rarely does it ever do you any good.
Would it have been helpful for the heading on this to change like when we're actually joining a team? So instead of start fun, like this is like the main, like, should it have been like join the Gryffindor team or whatever?
Level
So
1.
that
Heading
you
level 1
have
start
that
fundraising for that.
context.
Heading level 1 my first P2P campaign.
Yeah, that could definitely help. Context is everything when you can't see what's going on with the screen. So yeah, any little bit you can do helps for sure.
Mhm.
Progress 2 register. Current 4 start fundraising. Out of list out of grouping banner landmark create your why are you fundraising? And a few sentences. Why are you helping support this fundraiser? Edit multi-line I'm fundraising to support this great cause because it means so much to me. Help me out by donating through my fundraiser page. Domain so much to me. Help me out by donating through my
Oh, look, it already did the work for us. I'm happy with that.
out of edit profile image. Upload an image to
I
your
was gonna
profile.
ask you, did you
PNG and
know what
JPG.
that
This result
was?
is a 200.
It just looked like text to me, so
Okay.
You didn't know, did you know that you were in the text area and that was placeholder text?
And you could either keep it or replace it?
yes, that
Okay.
was that was good.
Profile image.
Okay.
Upload an image for your profile. Accepted formats are PNG and JPG. For best results, use a 250x. 250 pixel image size. Upload an image. Personal fundraising goal. Upload an image. Personal fundraising goal. $. Edit as autocomplete $5. Personal fundraise. Upload an image. ELO.
So this upload an image button, well, it's not a button. It needs to become a button.
Yeah, it's one of those draggable upload areas.
So I think in that case, you'd want to have that, but also have a button inside it, right? Or styled to look like it's inside it, but it would be
Right.
below it, maybe.
Clicking on this does nothing.
Mhm.
File upload dialog. File
Yeah.
name. File name. Hello box collapsed. Edit
Oh,
blank.
it opened.
Yeah, I've seen these quite a bit. Try to render that as a button if you can, and it should be fine.
Start fundraising for my first
Yeah.
personal fundraising goal. $. Edit as autocomplete $500. Personal fund edit as autocomplete 500.
Okay, so this is another field that needs a label.
Personal fundraising goal.
So here you have personal fundraising goal, but if you focus the field,
Edit as autocomplete 500.
it doesn't actually communicate that. So that would be something good to fix. Can use a label for that.
Button create profile. Content info landmarks button create profile.
And then there's create profile. So I guess we'll see what happens.
Unavailable.
Yes. But it doesn't
So-
tell you them. Mhm.
Yeah, there is a success message that is visible to us that says you're ready to start fundraising, and then you can access your profile or team below.
Heading level 1 start fundraising for the heading level 1 my banner landmark you're ready to start fundraising. Access your profile or team below to fundraise for this campaign.
So you would
Graphic test testing. Test testing. $0 raised. Link view profile. Graphic Griffinder.
probably want to. Is there no option to refresh the page for that?
Oh, because
Yes.
on the other steps, it refreshed the page and you liked that.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see change in the model here.
I mean, so the options are refreshing the page completely, or when this part loads, forcing focus on that you're ready to start fundraising message.
Yeah, I mean, the only issue you're gonna see in focusing content like this is mobile devices don't always work. Actually, very seldom do they ever work, especially voiceover and like on the iPhone, for example. It's very, very, very challenging to make mobile focus work. So if there is a way to reload this page, that would be the better way to go because it fits your current model already.
Mhm. Do you think, and this is where we get into weird semantics of language. Do you want to hear a literal, like, your profile has been successfully created versus you're ready to start fundraising? Like,
No,
no, you don't think that matters?
success is success.
Okay.
Profinder. Free members. Link view team. Content info landmarks and mainland free Profinder. Graphic Profinder. Link view profile.
All of that text is customizable by the admin, so they can
Oh, okay.
they can word it how they want.
One thing I will say, I was super impressed, like having to set up this demo thing at how quick that was with your on. I was thinking, man, I'm gonna have to build all these forms, and this is like 3 clicks, and it was like, here's all the default stuff. So that is awesome, and congratulations on that, because I'm sure that took a ton of work to like pre-build that onboarding stuff. It was great. So
Thank you. I also overall, Alex, it feels like you navigated through this whole peer-to-peer process a lot more easily than you did our donation forms. Is that right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Well, that's encouraging because we did just build this compared to the forms that we built 7 years ago. So it feels like we're improving slowly but surely. So.
I mean, yes, there's
So
improvement, which is great.
yeah, but I mean the giant oversight of no labels on those fields that's kind of a big surprise to me actually. So, but that's an easy fix.
Yes.
would it be helpful to have him like go into either one of these, either the profile or the team, to give you some feedback on either of those?
I'm not sure. We kind of I don't know how much time we have. We're at our hour. I do have other meetings as well. So
Yeah, 11. Yeah, we have
know.
about 11:30 is what we have for our stop.
Yeah, and I was
so-
curious if other people had input or feedback too, or if didn't.
Yeah,
I
we
have
also didn't get a chance to look at your dashboard, but I don't know if anybody else has any questions or thoughts.
I have thought. and it's something that I've solved it on my own site, and I saw the pain that Matt had when he saw the join now button, and it's so cute and it's in that spot, and you can't have the whole team name there.
Remarks to me. Would love to connect some alert.
So what I ended up doing was you can use Flexbox and you can do order if you want the button to show up after you've already announced the team, but that doesn't help with a screen reader. So what I do is I have screen reader text and I dynamically throw the title in there. So it's like join, blah, blah, blah.
To me. Would you check out LizzieAnderson.com for me alert?
And it's automatically in there so the client doesn't have to worry about it or anything. Does that work, Alex?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, I like that.
Um,
I like, Alex, that throughout the whole time you really emphasized that context is everything, and I think that was really helpful for me to kind of get my head around the whole thing a lot better. So.
yeah, that's one of the most important things to remember. As someone who cited, you see the whole page, but as somebody with a screen reader, you're seeing each section one bit at a time. So it's a much different model of exploring.
Hey, Alex, I posted on the chat, but I am just amazed how like you can quickly remediate things like, oh, you just add like tab index 1 or tab index 0. And how did you like get better at it? Because, you know, like you use this as a user, but then like getting that skill to like making it accessible, it's been kind of stumbling block for me. And I've been reading a lot of like documentation, but I just haven't found like good tutorial that I can actually just sit down and learn. Like I want to see someone like make an inaccessible website into an accessible website. And I want to see like Aria role getting used than just reading it from documentation. Like, have you run into any good resource for front-end developer to get better at these things?
Well, that's half the battle, right? There's a few courses out there, and that's about it. I mean, I won't lie, I learned a lot of what I know from experience. I absolutely cannot stand the accessibility web standards. I think they are confusing, convoluted, and like this is what I do every day. So there might be plenty in here that disagree with me on that, but I think the web accessibility standards is a really good way to go to sleep at night if you can't.
Is it possible that I could get like in touch with you if I have done my research and I still cannot figure it out?
So yes, you're more than welcome to get in touch. I know there was someone who sent me a private message, and I will be honest, I have no idea how to look at that in Zoom. So you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm most active on LinkedIn.
Oh, great. I can find you there. That's great.
That was me, Alex. Sorry, man.
That was Marty.
Yeah.
Yep. And just for I'm going to say this so that we know later for the transcript, the person who was just talking was Heggy. Alicia has her hand raised.
Yeah, I learned a lot of what I know right now because I participated, and I just put the link in there from a Google search. I participated in the Accessibility Internet Rally, and you have like about 6 or maybe 8 weeks. Joe Simpson also did it. He's here. We were on the team, and we had someone on the team who was really versed in this, and we competed. And if you're competing for something, you learn it. And so I learned a lot. I learned how to like this screen reader text method, a lot of things. So get into something like that where there's a group of people and they're moving along in the same period that you are, and you get a mentor too, and you get someone with a disability who's a mentor to like look over the work as you're competing to say, yeah, this is okay, no, this is not. It's really, I would highly recommend it.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's through Knowability. I think Joe Simpson, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I wanted to give kudos to Matt for bearing his site like this and allowing Alex to go through. But my question was to Alex. Alex, I know you mentioned your disdain for the standards and things like that, but how long did it take you in the accessibility space to get the type of experience where you feel comfortable solving a lot of these problems as a developer?
So I've been in accessibility development for coming up on 6 years now, and there's still stuff I don't know.
And what would you say? I mean, where did you say you learned it just by doing it, or did you learn it through some sort of formal training?
Just by doing it. Reading a lot of documentation, finding out how much sense it never made, and just figuring it out.
Cool.
Yeah, like
Heggy. Yeah.
I'm just like looking at like Aria role, and that somehow really scared me because like I couldn't find any video on it. And you talked about that a lot during this meeting, and I mean I just don't understand the documentation. It doesn't say anything about Aria dash button or anything, and I'm just speaking out loud on my impression on the documentation. I just feel like it's done poorly for new beginners.
Have you looked at Mozilla's documentation?
I'm
Because
on developer.mozilla.org.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I feel like Mozilla has some of the best documentation on Aria labels. I'm not sure if Alex has other resources.
It is the best, and even it's lacking at best.
Yeah, I wish they actually have some, maybe, I don't know, maybe CodePen example of like, what was it before and how did you make it accessible? Than just telling me Aria expanded is for this widget that collapses and.
Well, a lot of developers are going to hate what I'm about to say next, but it needs to be said. You should not be using things like roll button and tab index of 0. These are cheating, dirty ways to get around problems. You should actually create a button and style it to look like your span or whatever you wanted it to look like. But to actually try to trick screen readers into using an element that isn't designed for that purpose is really bad practice, in my opinion. And it should only be used if you really don't have another option.
Agreed.
So really, we need to go back and study our basic HTML semantics.
Yeah, that's what I tell people all the time. I'm like, I don't know why people think accessibility is so difficult. If you just use like good semantic HTML, you're not going to have a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Like spans are not meant to be buttons. I'm sorry, they're just not meant to be buttons.
Can I also suggest that, is it Heggy that's been asking these questions? There's another incredible meetup besides Amber's, and it's the WordPress and accessibility meetup that once a month they have demos and things too. And Sumner Davenport and Ron Amrick and Jennifer Wang are the host of that one, or the organizers. And any of these questions, you can come to all these different meetups, because I'm just chomping at the bit, because Aria cannot be sprinkled liberally over your food, just like salt can't. Okay, because you can go crazy with that and it's going to get in the way. So screen reader text should be an option in a lot of these cases. And there's a wonderful guy on Twitter that I'm following, and he's in Canada, and he's like Aria man, okay, the Aria whisperer or something. And like even he says that. So you start following people, real people, and their specialty. Okay, so I don't know if we can leave messages in the chat under this meetup with links, because sometimes meetups like weird like that. But
Also, if you leave them in the chat here, that records for me, and we usually include them with the recap.
Okay, so we've got 5 minutes. I'll see what I can dig up in 5 minutes and throw them in.
Thank you.
Alicia, can you put the link to, or Joe, can you pop the link for your meetup in the chat also?
Sure.
I think also I'm learning the IAAP, International Association of Accessibility Professionals. They have some courses and things that could be helpful as well.
So there's, without going down too much of a rabbit hole, I have something to say about that as well.
Okay.
I was really, really shocked to discover the accessibility issues on that website.
On their new one that they just launched?
I haven't seen the most recent one, but I mean, I looked at it probably, it was about 3 weeks ago, because I was looking into certifications.
Oh, that's the new one.
Oh, that's depressing.
You should give them feedback.
I
mean, I don't know. Maybe if you gave everyone feedback, that'd be all you doing all day long.
Yeah, so that's the other problem. Free feedback does not put food on the table. And as much as I love doing it, bills are bills. We all have them. So, and the other issue at play here for me is I can't necessarily start my own consulting business, because what happens there is you get these problems where it's like, okay, here's a client that wants visual work done. Now you got to go send them to another developer. So why would they pay extra for you when they can go find somebody that can do it all?
Yeah, that's frustrating.
But as far as the IAAP goes, yes, I was honestly pretty shocked. I'm like, with all these professionals that are surrounding this organization, it's just kind of saddening to me, honestly.
That's really, really depressing, because I'm in the process of going through my certification now.
Oh, which certification are you doing? Oh, from the AAP?
Yes, yeah. And just after hearing that, you really just need to get in and get your hands dirty and learn that way. That sort of makes me question what I'm doing right now.
The other thing I'll mention about IAEP is their options for testing are a little limited. I mean, I remember seeing this not too long ago. It says right on the page, remote testing is not accessible. And I was like, what? I mean, this is coming from like an accessibility organization. They can't make their remote testing accessible.
Yeah,
Just
that
kind
is
of blew me
very
away.
crazy. That is very crazy. Well, I really appreciate all the feedback you gave. Matt, thank you so much for allowing us to test the plugin. If anyone wants to, can each of you say if anyone wants to follow up with you, what the best place is? I know you mentioned LinkedIn, Alex, but I don't know if there's anything else you want to share.
So I want to give a big thanks to Matt as well, because it's not every day that we get to have some influence over tons of websites. So that's always a great thing. And you can find me on LinkedIn. I exist on Twitter and Facebook, but LinkedIn's your best bet to get in contact with me. I'm there pretty often.
Alex, would it be possible to get an email?
Yes. So you can reach out to me at alex@alexstine.com.
Awesome. Congratulations, brother. I think that your skills are so valuable today in today's world. You know that all the technology that's going to push our world to even better places is going to stem from things like this. When we have to stop reading and losing our eyesight because of people like you, you're going to, this work is invaluable.
That's what keeps me going every day. So it's much appreciated.
Kudos to everyone who organized and
Yep.
everybody else.
I just want to give Matt a chance real quick. What's the best place to get a hold of you or to learn more about Give if people want to learn more about Give?
No, thanks. I'm really happy to be here, and I really appreciate your work, Alex and Amber, for inviting me on. And I do hope and expect that you'll see great accessible work coming out of GiveWP going forward. GiveWP.com, of course, Twitter, GiveWP, or just GiveWP. I am on Twitter most often, Learn with Matt C. Learn with Matt C. So thank you, everybody, so much for having me here.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Have a great
Thank you
day.
so much. This was great.